I don't know how easy it's going to come out, honestly. Whoa. And there's, I'm not sure how full this is. Oh my God. Yeah, I did it. You guys see that? That was cool, huh?
My dick is out.
Woo. Oh.
We're going on YouTube, baby. Yeah. We're going on Rosy, boys. You're up, Mel. That's you. Oh, okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Get after it. Woo! Hey! Woo! Round of applause! Round of applause!
What is up, folks? We're out here again with Monty. You know the deal. We got a whole bunch of parts from Monty to do the motor swap with the Scouty. But we're missing 3 major components. One, the motor mounts for this thing to do the swap haven't shipped yet. They're a little bit delayed. The Holly we're going to use a Holly Terminator X Max. Hasn't shipped yet. Won't ship till the end of the month. Same with the motor mounts. The bell housing adapter we need to run our Turbo 400 to the Coyote is delayed. Won't be shipping for, I call them, this hopefully ships in the next day or 2. So 3 major components that we need haven't shown up yet. There's still a lot to do on Monty. We're really hoping to get the motor placed in there just so it looks good, you know what I'm saying? But that's gonna wait. So we can still get our fuel system ready, get the fuel cell put in there, clean up a bunch of stuff. I have to take off the cool little, this thing, heater box, AC unit, blower motor. That whole thing's coming off because that cool little lawn dart we did, went ahead and just gave that a tappy tap. So we need to take that out. All the factory wiring harness for the engine and fuse block probably coming out. I was going to try and like go through it and save what I could, so all the lights and everything still worked with the factory switches, but I think that's more work than I need to because I can easily wire them on a relay and a switch, and flip a switch, lights come on. That's all you really need. So what am we doing today? Getting that off, getting the factory harness out, probably starting to run some fuel lines and figure out how I'm going to place that fuel cell. Brandon's not here today, just riding solo. So let's get to work. Man, guys, we have parts for days in this unit. We have pretty much everything else but those 3 main components. Pretty much everything for our fuel system. Fuel line, it's all we're going to use all AN fittings. It's all in there. We have like 50 feet of hose, so that should be plenty. If it's not, I'm doing something wrong. Got a cool little inline filter there, clamp, all the AN lines. Big important part right there. Those are oil pump gears for the Coyote. The biggest, I don't know if it's the biggest, but it's a very common thing with the Mustangs in high RPM. The factory oil pump gears like to blow apart. So it's a cheap $200 part that can save your motor. So if you're building a Coyote, whether you're boosting it NA, highly recommend doing the oil pump gears because from what it says on the Googles, saves your motor. We got all sorts of parts over here. Trying to keep this light on my face because I don't know if you guys have noticed, there's terrible lighting in our shop. So I'm just walking around with my light shining at my face so you can see me. Flex plate adapter, cool little what you call that, dipstick. That is the adapter that bolts directly to the Turbo 400, and then the thing, bell housing, that took me a minute, I couldn't remember the bell housing. Bell housing, most of that. So that, you take out the transmission pump bolts, that bolts there, and then the bell housing bolts to that. That make sense? Sweet. Super sweet, good looking Sidewinder shifter, or FI Tech fuel pressure regulator, because we gotta regulate the fuel pressures. Really nice Holly fuel pump there. This is a wiring harness for the factory Mustang gas pedal. There's ways around it we can swap it out to a cable, but that's a lot of work and it was more expensive than that harness. So just got to mount the factory Mustang gas pedal in Monty, and it'll work with our Terminator. A whole bunch of other parts in these boxes, but those are the main things we've got right now. Lots and lots and lots and lots of parts. Doesn't look like it, but there's tons of parts. So I'm just gonna start doing stuff and make some headway. Before we know it, everything else will be here that we need from Monty. I mean, we're not gonna make our Memorial Day deadline because that's in a week and a half, and the motor mounts and the Holly won't ship till the 28th. So it's gonna be mid-June, more likely, till this is done. But we can get everything else, all the small things that go around doing a motor swap, done. That way, once the motor mounts show up, we just slap it in there, build a transmission mount, put the computer in there, hook it all up, fire it up. In theory, that's how it will go. So I'm gonna work on the fuel system, get things out of the engine bay we don't need, make a bunch of room, clean some things up, because there's a little bit of oil and stuff. You know, for that, how hard we beat on that 5.0 and how old it was, it didn't leak any oil. There's a tiny amount on the cross member, but I'm literally guessing that's from spillage from doing oil changes over the years, because there's like no oil on it. Usually they're just caked on these older trucks. So let's do some work. I think I'll start with getting this heater box out, also because it seems like it'll be easier. Good way to just get warmed up for the day, man. I get warmed up. Need a wobbly. Man, bolts on the inside. It's gonna be fun. This whole thing is gonna be fun. Yeah, we got fine bolts on the inside. That's gonna be fun. Don't want to tear the whole dash out, but we may. Or this is gonna become a really destructive thing. We're just gonna break it off. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with just breaking this off. It won't hurt my feelings. Nothing here we're reusing, so. It's already pretty loose, so more likely I get that one bolt inside if I can find it. And it'll probably come out, or I can easily break it off. So let's find the bolt inside. Well, I found a bolt. I don't know if it's the bolt we need, but this one probably needs to come out because it looks like it goes through to there. Probably take a while to make life easier, but it might have been it. You know, it's really hard to tell. Nothing behind that. I don't know. Let's go see. See if we do anything cool. I think that was it. So let's give this thing a wiggle, see what happens. It is pretty loose. I'm guessing there's another bolt somewhere. Oh yeah, right there. I found it. Hold on. Take this. An extending device. That should do us. Extend-o-matic. See that thing move? I think she's ready to come out, folks. See that? Oh heck, that was too easy. Too easy. Looking a little coolant from the heater core. That was too freaking easy. I won't lie, I expected that to be harder. A few bolts, a few nuts. She's out. I'll clip a few wires and get it all the way out. Well, that was a million times easier than I expected. Just get a piece of tin and aluminum, and we'll cover that up because that just goes right into the cab. But that came out easy, so I guess I'll start on the wiring. I don't know why I'm dreading it so much. It's probably gonna be just easy that, just unclip stuff and pull it out. So let's do that now. Now this is not going to be, put that in there, I don't need that. So I know this thing here, I don't know if you can see it, that's the cruise control. That can definitely go away. You want to know what we had holding up this fuse block? You can guess it. A zip tie. That's all I was holding this thing up. It's a big old beefy zip tie. Held up this entire fuse block. I mean, we do things a little trashy sometimes around here at Rosy Boiz TV, but you know, at the end of the day, got us going, got us driving. That's what mattered. Oh boy. I don't know, guys. I'm a little nervous about this. I know this runs engine and transmission, the factory engine transmission, which we don't have anymore, so it's essentially useless. I just am bummed out that I can't use the factory switches for all the lights and stuff. Like I said, not going to be hard to rewire, just don't really want to. I think that's more what it is, I just don't want to. There's so much crap here though. Like, the only thing I'm going to need from this is all the light bulb sockets, so I can probably rewire those all in. There's a lot of crap here, but like these here that go to the reservoir, what's that gonna do? I assume, I mean, they're not electronic brakes, so it'll still work, but you know, just cutting all this factory stuff off makes you nervous. It's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the heck is this exactly? Little inline fuse thing, like what was that for? Probably some ghetto rig fix that someone did back in the day, or this is a factory Ford thing. It's a factory Ford thing. It's a fancy inline fuse. Like, what the hell is that for this brake pressure switch, something or the other? I don't know. All I know is it's probably going away. And we're going to have a whole bunch of lights on. Well, we probably won't have any lights on because the dash probably isn't going to work. So let's just keep going. I'm reminiscing and stalling. Not reminiscing. I'm stalling because I don't want to do this. But we're just gonna send it. Rather struggle less. Of course, they're different size. Nice Ford. I'm gonna use 11s for some things and 10s for the others. I mean, they're probably not metric, let's be honest. They're probably standard, but I don't care. So many random bolts and nuts. I mean, if I can't put things back together with all the extra nuts and bolts I have from this, I probably shouldn't be doing this. Because we have an abundance. If you need a factory Ford bolt or nut, I probably have it. Not probably, I pretty much can guarantee I have it. Oh, see, here's another thing. Wipers. We're gonna have wipers. So I'm gonna have to figure out how that all works. Sweet. That's something we're gonna have to figure out because we're gonna have wipers. I know there's a lot of people that just like do away with that because it's an unnecessary thing. But we get weather here in Utah, like rain and snow, and I want the wipey wipes to do the wipey wipe thing. So we're gonna wire this back in for sure. More like it's gonna be a 1-speed thing. It's not gonna be a variable speed thing, unless I can find a cool variable speed like dial. But we're gonna wire that back in. So we'll figure that out. Now if I really wanted to be a go-getter, I pull that transmission transfer case out. Just don't know if I want to do that by myself. Well, I was gonna pull the transmission out, but I feel like the transmission transfer case are still bolted together, and it'd probably be safer for me to wait for Brandon to be here when I have a buddy. So I'm pulling the fuel tank out. I've got a few bolts out, got a couple left, and it'll drop out. I haven't disconnected any of the wires or fuel lines, mostly because you can't really get to them. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna just let this thing drop, because I don't think my jack can get high enough, and it'll kind of just be in the way. So I'm just gonna just let this thing drop and see what happens. This might be a bad idea, and it might work flawlessly. I'm not sure. We're just gonna send it. All right, this is about to be something really dumb, probably. Hopefully, I don't get hurt. Well, I didn't get hurt. I mean, it did hit me, but we're good. Now, I assume the gas tank's just chilling there. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the gas tank just kind of comes out now. It's kind of wedged between the frame. So let me see what I gotta do to wiggle this guy out and not hurt myself. And then I'm not worried about breaking any lines or wires because we're not gonna be using that stuff anymore. Someone that like hurt myself. Got some toolage, and let's pry this out. I don't know how easy this is gonna come out, honestly. Whoa! And there's, not sure how full this is. Oh my God! Yeah, I did it! Did you guys see that? That was cool, huh? Man, look at all this access I have to all this crap. Oh, I got the lines off. They kicked my butt. Now I've got the electrical connector. And we'll move the old gas tank out of here. In theory, this will be easy. That was easy. Good. I can take that. Alright. Alright, loud noises. There's not a lot of fuel in there, but still a little heavy. Cool. Now we cut a hole in the bed. We'll stick that fuel cell in there that's behind our hood. We're gonna get rid of that too. If anyone wants a factory F-150 hood, you can have that one. $10. We're gonna put a sweet fiberglass one on, just get even more weight off the front end. That thing probably weighs, I'd say in the range of 40, 50 pounds, maybe more, maybe less, I don't know. But weight off the front end, no matter how much it is always good because, of course, we're gonna be heavy in the front end. We need as much weight in the ass end as we can. That way it's balanced when we jump. Get some weight on these leaf springs so it's a little more squatted, a little more plush. It's really rigid and balanced in the rear end because we don't have any weight back here. It's like your typical truck when you hit bumps, it just bing, 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 bounces. So once we get the 2 spare tires back here, the fuel cell back here, we'll have a trans cooler back here. Not a ton of weight, but it's enough weight to put 200 to 300 pounds, hopefully, on these leaf springs to kind of get things to settle a little bit so it's a little more plush. So I'm gonna scoot this thing out of the way and get a game plan for the fuel cell. Whew. Well, fuel tank's out. Now I just need to mark up the bed where we're gonna stick the fuel cell. Fuel cell's back there behind the hood here, hiding down there looking real nice. So I'll throw that up here, kind of get an idea where we want it to sit. I'm probably gonna have it sit on that factory skid plate that was for the factory fuel tank. That way it can kind of sit down, recess a little bit, just get that weight just a skosh bit lower. It'll only sit down, I think, like 6 inches, but we'll do that. And then I'll get some cool metal, bend it up, and put a couple straps over the top of it to hold it down. So let's get this fuel tank in here and see what it's going to take to cut the floor. I might have to wait for Brandon, you know, because he's the cutter. He's the professional cutter. You know, he's done, I would say, 90%, if not 95%, of all the cutting on Monty. And that's why it looks great. You know, he cut all of our fenders up. He cut the bed up, cut the fenders out. He cut everything. Everything that needed to be cut, he's pretty much cut. So I might have to wait for Brandon. I don't know. I don't know if I can, you know, hold it down like Brandon can. I don't know if I can be on his level. So, but let's throw it in here and see what it's going to take to get it in here. So that's about where it's gonna sit. There's a rail that runs along the back of the bed, so it's just inside of that. The hole we cut for our little ghetto rig hack job to stick the filler neck from the factory tank to the bed is there, but that's probably gonna loop the new fuel lines around through and go through there, so we don't have to make another hole. But it's not that big of a deal. I was hoping that we would cut and it would almost cover all that, but this isn't as wide as I thought it was. Once I got up here, I'm like, oh, this isn't that wide at all. But it's gonna work great. It'll countersink about like what I thought, 6-7-ish inches. So it'll be recessed, not quite halfway down, but about yay or so. That'll be good. It'll get down there, lower that center of gravity, get a little more weight lower, weight on the rear end, like right on the tail, so that'll be good. 32 gallons of gas, 32 times 7. I don't know the numbers, but it's a couple 100 pounds at least when it's full. Plus a couple of spare tires back here. I'll be good to have that much weight right on the rear end. I think I'll wait for Brandon to come, make sure he likes where it's at. I don't want to cut a hole and then he'd be like, why'd you do that? Just want to make sure we're both on the same page when we do stuff like this, so not one of us is irritated with something that happened. I don't think he'll mind if I were to just cut a hole, but we'll wait for him. I'm gonna pull all the factory fuel lines out of the fuel rail, or the frame rail, get a bunch of wires out that we don't need. Like I said, we're gonna rewire all these lights. So basically the factory wiring harness that runs through there, we're gonna ditch or get rid of it. I might leave some there if I can figure out exactly which wire is which. That way I just don't have to run wires all the way. I can tie into those trigger wires to activate the lights. But if not, no worries, we'll spin up our own harness and run it back here. But I'm gonna get ripping things out of the frame. I have to cut these at some point. I don't think I'll be able to get them all the way through all this junk all in one piece. Let me just scooch back down here. Won't need you anymore. I'll leave that up there for the factory brake line. That's got to stay in there somewhere. So help keep that secure. Probably at the point where I need to make a cut. I don't think you guys can see me, but you can probably hear me. Let's just bring you along for the ride. All these lines here, I don't know if you can see them. Fuel lines. We need to cut them so we can get them out. Should I use a grinder and just send it and maybe start a fire? No, I'll probably just try and use my super awesome, really good Harbor Freight bolt cutters and snip these bad boys. See how it goes. See what happens when we try and cut these. See if they'll actually cut. I'm gonna go with probably not. Let me cut that cool little tie. Never mind. No pull off. Let's get you. Get in there. Oh yeah. You know, just gotta be a little aggressive and they'll cut. There's part of the fuel lines out. You don't need those where we're going. A few more sections, we'll have all the fuel lines out. You want a factory fuel filter? Probably really good. Probably not clogged at all. Brake line, I need to keep you. That goes there. Okay. I got it. I'll pump these fuel lines out. Sweet. I'll clip that back together and I can still put my brake line in there. Let's go ahead and give these a snippy snip with our rusty trusty high quality Harbor Freight fuel line cutters. Oh. A good way to wash your tools is just leak gas all over them. It doesn't eat away the rubber or make things slippery at all. Another piece of fuel line out. Oh, I tried to tip you guys over. My bad. We're getting there. We are getting there. So it's coming out all right. I'm getting covered in gas. Kind of getting a buzz from the fumes. You know what? It's all right. We're gonna keep on keeping on. I'm gonna do like one more cut section of these fuel lines. Whew. Then the fuel lines will be out. Then you can start figuring out the new ones. Well, all the fuel lines are out. I think I'm just gonna pull the wiring harnesses that are in the frame rail. That way it's out. There's a lot more wires in there than I need. There's a whole bunch of fuel pump triggers. There's like 4 fuel pump triggers in there. I don't know why. And then a whole bunch of wires that are for the trailer brakes. And just a bunch of unnecessary wires. Not a ton. I could probably take the time and figure out exactly, trying to find a spot to lean. Find out exactly what wires I can use. Not all of them, because we need a handful of wires in the back for our brake lights, turn signals, and all that stuff. Because we're still planning on having all that work, because we drive on the road, so we do need that to work. But there's just a whole bunch of other wires in there that I can either just clip the pigtails off, call it good, and it'll probably be okay. I'm probably just going to yank that whole wiring harness out of the frame rail just so it's clean. I'll run a whole new one and be done with it. So pretty much the same process as me pulling those fuel rails out, so you probably fuel lines out. Probably don't need to watch me do that. So I'm gonna yank those out real quick and figure out the next step. See if we'll do anything else today. This and all this crap. You know, guys, I'm starting to get worried. Pulling everything out of here. What if it doesn't work? A lot of wires and crap are pulling out of Monty. It's not gonna work anymore, guys. What are we gonna do? Man. All this stuff I'm pulling out, realizing I'm gonna have a lot of wiring to do. Mostly just with lights. But it's gonna be a lot, because there's a whole bunch of bulbs and stuff in the front end for turn signals and headlights and all that cool jazz. Same with the rear. It's gonna be a little bit of wiring and tying into stuff. But we'll get it. We'll get it figured out. Well, I've killed about as much time as I have to work on Monty today. But I felt like I didn't do a ton, but I made good progress. Did a lot of stuff that needed to be done. I mean, that was a big thing, getting that out of the way. Getting all that stuff out of the way we don't need. Just adds our wheel clearance for when we're doing those big lawn darts. Next big thing is just get the transmission out. Like I said, I need Brandon here to do that, just so I don't have to worry about dropping it on me. Be a little safer. Because it's a big, heavy transmission transfer case. Shouldn't be doing it by myself. Big pile of stuff. Doesn't look like a lot that came out, but all necessary things to come out to make this swap happen. So, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, get subscribed, share with your friends. This is going to be a pretty sweet build. It's going to be awesome when that motor's in there. It's going to be super, super sweet. Well, that's all for today. See you on the next one, guys.